This unit will explore the train to train and the train to compete stages. Now that the children have learned the concept and principles of how to train, you can begin to develop age-appropriate weightlifting-specific coaching programs and then apply that to weightlifting competition.
The train to train stage corresponds to the ages of 11 to 15 for females and the ages 12 to 16 for males. This is a challenging time for young boys and girls. They will most likely experience large and noticeable growth spurts. Some children will do this sooner or later than others. Physically, the rapid change in body dimensions requires significant coaching adjustments. Arms and legs and torso will often grow and change at different rates in males and females, which we all refer to as that gangly stage. Sport skills and abilities that were easily performed in earlier stages, or even at the beginning of this stage, are often difficult to do now. So you need to develop patience and give your athletes time to grow into their new bodies. As boys and girls move through this stage, they pass through hormonal changes related to puberty. Girls most likely will begin to menstruate. You need to be prepared for emotional mood swings, but don't let hormonal changes be an excuse for bad behavior in or out of the gym.
When I was in this stage, I felt out of sync with myself. My arms and legs didn't seem to want to coordinate with each other all the time, and my mental and physical development was also not always in sync. I looked physically mature, but that didn't mean that I was mentally mature. I was grateful that I had a coach who understood this and had the patience to wait for different parts of my body and mind to catch up to itself.
Young lifters can now begin to focus more closely on weightlifting as their primary sport of choice, although we still recommend involvement and cross-training in other sports. It is still too early to specialize in only one sport. Athletes should now be participating in 3 to 4 weightlifting workouts per week, between 60 to 90 minutes per session. Total training time should not exceed 300 to 400 hours per year and should involve no more than 1 to 2 competitions per year. The focus is not on winning and personal bests. It is about preparing for and understanding how to compete in weightlifting.
Now that young athletes have learned how to train, they should now be ready to apply that foundation in the train to compete stage. This stage corresponds to adolescent males between 16 years of age and their early 20s, and females between 15 years of age and their early 20s. Physically and mentally, this stage is a continuation of what we saw in the train to train stage. By this stage, most adolescent males and females have reached their adult proportions in both body size and brain size. Changes in body size will begin to stabilize, but bones, tendons, and ligaments will continue to develop. So even though the body might not be visibly changing in size, strength changes will continue well into adulthood. Young athletes have typically matured mentally and are ready for more strategic goal setting, more complex competition, strategy planning, and being involved in decision making about their own training and life sport balance.
At this stage in my development, I was very focused on weightlifting as my primary sport, but it was also a time in my life when I was making important life decisions about education and career and my future beyond the sport of weightlifting. I was also very interested in socializing and interacting with my peers inside and outside of the gym. Fortunately, my coach structured activities for us to do in the gym and understood that we had a life outside of the training hall. I think this helped me focus on weightlifting and balance my sport and life goals.
Athletes can start to think about specializing in weightlifting. Although we believe it is still healthy mentally and physically to engage in at least one other sport, although weightlifting can certainly become the primary sport of focus at this stage. Weightlifting training can involve up to 4 weightlifting sessions per week, lasting between 1 to 2 hours in duration. This equates to no more than 400 to 500 total training hours per year. Athletes are learning how to compete in this stage, and they are ready for you to link training activities directly to competition goals. So, your coaching strategies should begin to make the link between the two. Athletes should be learning that what they do in training results in specific competition outcomes. They are learning that specific choices about nutrition and personal behavior and other factors will directly impact their competition outcomes. As the name of the stage suggests, they are training for competition. As such, in order to develop appropriate competition-related behaviors, it is important for you as a coach to work with your athletes to set goals and objectives that reinforce competition behavior and outcomes involving more than just the final result or the weight lifted. The training to competition ratio should now be moving towards a stronger focus on competition. We recommend a ratio of close to 40 to 60. For example, 40% of total time focused on training specific skills and conditioning, and 60% on competition and competition-related training. You are coaching your athletes to train for competition at this stage, not coaching them just to win.
In the next unit, we will look at the elements of coaching to compete successfully in the next stage of USA Weightlifting's athlete development model.